Let me guess, you've been grinding for years, now your business is finally doing 6 figures a month. But instead of feeling top of the world, you're constantly thinking, what if this all falls apart? What if the clients churn, the team quits, or the fulfillment breaks? Honestly, you're not alone, because I literally had the same fear when we crossed the 1 mil a month and just feeling like on top of the pinnacle, something's working. So in this video, I'm gonna break down the exact system that kept me from losing control when we scaled, so you can grow without burning out or blowing up, because that is so true. It's so true. The fear that consumes you, once you get to a mil a month, it's like, all right, cool. Now I got the A+ players. Now I got the right systems. I got the right SOPs. I'm tracking the right metrics. The ads are looking good. What if the ads don't go good? We already set such a high standard. What if the content is produced the right way? All these little things are creeping in, and it actually messes up with you so much, because it's like, oh, I want to stay at this level, but anything that I can't control can actually just deviate that result. Welcome to the channel. I'm Fadi. I train and manage 7- and 8-figure sales teams. I help companies scale past 1 mil a month and break down the strategies that actually work in the real world. If you want no fluff, battle-tested systems that keep your business stable as you scale, subscribe and let's get into it. I'm creating this channel just to document what's working for us. We've been consistently doing 1 mil a month over the past 6 months on an info product one-on-one mentorship program. We're selling a 20K ticket and a 50K ticket, strictly B2B. I've been in sales for the past 6 years, and I've dedicated the past 3 years perfecting my craft as a closer, setter, and as a sales manager. And I'm super blessed to be where I'm at today. Just want to document it in order to meet other great sales managers out there, learn from each other, be able to have this documented here for our personal growth. I'm not guaranteeing any results. It's just what's working and what's not working for us, and how we're working together to get to that next level. Why most businesses implode past 500K a month. So first, let's talk about why growth gets dangerous. Fulfillment lags behind sales. You're closing deals faster than you can deliver results. So your reputation and your retention starts to tank. And it's so huge, because you cannot try to just push more product down, not considering the fulfillment. That's going to hurt, obviously, your sales team tremendously, your CSMs, your client success managers, and your marketing as well, because now you're having this over promise, under delivered, system going on. You have a lot of work to do on the back end after the client gets in. You almost cannot guarantee everybody results anymore, which those case studies comes in handy when it comes to marketing and more word of mouth, especially on our side too, because we're doing B2B. I mean, we literally collect cash, wires, crypto when we close people in person as well sometimes. Majority of our sales also do come from referral and word of mouth. But we do have a system in place where everybody goes through a phase during their process where they're being held accountable, where we're tracking their journey, and we're actually ensuring to get results at XYZ time, with or without a personal life on their side, where it could stop them from actually achieving what they're looking to achieve, because we understand that is the most important thing. We are lucky to have closers and setters that care about our client journey so much because of the culture we've established. Some of the closers, at some point when we got to a lot of students at once, we're like, hey, listen, man, I'm closing so many people. Are we actually got a system in place? Do we have enough CSMs to be able to deliver for these folks? Because we work with integrity, we work with honesty, and we don't want to just over promise, under deliver. So that's the first thing that a lot of people misunderstand, is you cannot just try to sell, market, and not really focus on the product, because initially that's what the person on the sales team is actually selling. Now, the second thing would be no clear roles or ownership. Everybody's doing everything. You have no accountability, no clarity. When something breaks, no one knows who's fixing it, because you have, the growth operator or the CEO getting on the sales meetings and managing the KPIs and looking over the pipeline, and then hopping on closer meetings and hopping on setter meetings, and then talking to the marketing team, doing all the different things. And then the focus is so dispersed between different departments, and then you got closers coaching the setters, and then the setters referring back to the CSMs. You don't know who's done this, who's done that, with the workflows, with the automations, with the marketing, with the content, who's tracking what. And that is a big problem. I'm kind of in and out with the whole micromanaging, but if you have A+ players that you don't necessarily need to babysit and everybody knows what they're doing, it saves them so much time, because you're trusting your team, you're trusting the individual that is set on a task that's so good at, that's going to perform on it, right? You got sales sales manager for the sales team that can obviously manage the setters and closers. You got closers only focusing on getting on calls and closing people. And then a close, which means either they come down to a point of this is interesting and I want to buy it, or this is not what I'm looking for. After going through the framework, you got the setters, speed to lead, confirmations, making sure the person actually shows up with interest, follows up with resources until the sale is actually closed. The CSMs, the onboarding side, once the client comes in and becomes, obviously a student, to their success story, etc. All these things need to have specific people, and you need to actually take time vetting and hiring the right people for these things, because it is the pillar of your business. So I'm just curious on how many people are neglecting this, or they probably have these people within their own business and within their own info product and their sales teams, etc. But did you actually take the time to vet these people? How far did you think ahead of getting the right people? Do you have a system? Do you have a standard operational procedures for every single position? How do you track these people? How do you hold yourself accountable? What is your duty? What is your task? All these different things need to be clear for you, because if it's not documented, it does not exist. And I'm sure a lot of you guys can resonate with this. I'm sure a lot of you guys are actually implementing these stuff, but do you actually have it documented? Is it actually applied? Is it something you actually think about consistently? Do I have the right people in the right place? What do I need to take on, take off, etc., etc.? These are very huge, and that's probably one of the reasons that you could be stuck at a certain number right now, and it can cause you fear when you get to $1 million or $2 million a month. Because if you're so certain on your system you have right now, hitting $1 million or $2 million a month is going to look like a standard thing you're doing based on the input you put in. But if you are fearing that you might lose that pinnacle or that achievement you got into, you know that deep inside there is no proven system. You just happen to get there because of what you've been doing, and that is a big problem. Now, the third thing, and speaking of reports and numbers and metrics and tracking, is so important. So there's no reporting rhythm, right? If you're not looking at your numbers daily, you wake up one day and realize you've been bleeding cash for 3 months, and it happened, right? Because scaling is a pressure test. If your systems suck, the cracks will show, and that's just the truth of it, right? So the 3 systems that actually saved me, let's just break down the systems, that kept us growing without chaos. That's how I like to say it, Fulfillment capacity tracker. That's what it is, all right? So every week we looked at active clients. How many can we realistically serve right now? Capacity per coach or team member. Are we at 80%, 90%, or 120? And then we looked at projected sales. What's coming in the pipeline? Because if fulfillment was getting tight, would pause campaigns, slow down the offers, or just pre-hire talent. We'll stop that, because no surprises, no over-promising. That's just the biggest problem. So the role clarity and ownership, what kind of mapped the business into clear swim lanes, right? Sales obviously owns revenue, right? Fulfillment owns client success. And then our operators obviously owns the systems and delivery. And then of course the marketing owns the lead flow, right? Everybody works together. So each department lead had clear KPIs. They reported weekly. So if something slipped, we knew exactly who was accountable. So the daily and weekly reporting, right? We didn't wait until the end of the month to look at performance. We literally had daily Slack updates. Obviously you guys have AODs or just the systems and stuff. So new sales, cash collected, client issues, weekly scorecard, so on and so forth. I mean, the sales metrics as a whole, fulfillment metrics, churn and retention, it could be net cash flow. So this rhythm kept everyone aligned and killed problems early, because everybody knew where it was at. And then this is even before, because we're a 100% organic team, by the way. So we just short form, long form, etc. So what this looks like in practice, when we hit $1 million a month, we had a pipeline full of leads, but fulfillment never fell behind. Every team member knew exactly what success looked like, and we were never in the dark about cash flow, churn, and delivery. That's why scaling didn't feel like chaos. It felt like stacking bricks, right? So predictable, structured, sustainable, right? So if you're scaling now, I would say just do this immediately, right? 3 actions you can take literally this week. If I was you right now, I will audit your fulfillment capacity. Can you handle the sales volume you're chasing? If not, fix it before you sell more. Integrity, right? Clarify ownership. Write down who's accountable for sales, fulfillment, operation, marketing. If it's all you need to build a leadership layer right now. Set a weekly reporting cadence. Make your numbers impossible to ignore. Everybody's being held accountable, and it's clear, because if they don't follow it, now you can hold them accountable. When you actually break it down like this and you think about it every single day in this structure, it gives you clarity. It gives you clarity, because people lie and numbers don't. And your key performance indicators, your KPIs, are very, very crucial. I do not go based of biased opinion or biased take from closers, setters, marketing team, our CSMs, whatever the case may be. We have reporting in place. And the way how we structure it out, even with communication in our Slack, we have a calls update channel. Calls update is where post sales call notes, after a closer gets off a call, they drop updates, notes, contacts on that call's update channel for several reasons. One is documented for us to know. Two, the setters have context on what to follow up on. And then three, we can actually go back and review the call and see based out of, the closer might think a certain way. When we review the call, it might have gone the other way. And I was like, all right, cool. What made you feel this was the outcome of the call? Clearly, we just watched it. We reviewed the call together. Do you feel like that take you had on that call's update is actually accurate to what actually happened? No, it wasn't. Okay, cool. So now you're getting their take on it and then you're reviewing it together. You're shifting the mindset belief of like, oh, maybe they thought it was this way, but it's not. It's just a limited belief that most closers do have. Now, we also have a setter's contacts channel. Now, this is pre-call notes. When the setter calls, qualifies, nurtures, confirms the person, they drop contacts on that setter's contact. So that way the closers can go in there and read the contacts pre-call till they get ready for their sales call. So separating both is very important. Closers are not allowed to comment on the setter's contacts. Setters are allowed to comment on the calls updates under thread, so you can keep everything very organized. We have a sales team channel where everybody drops the most important things, CSMs, coaches, etc. on there. So everything's very organized. Everything's in place. You can actually track everything efficiently. Anything with a CRM is a lot easier to track because you can track a lot of things. If you're using a power dialer, the number of dials, etc., so on and so forth. But in our case, we're a super lean team, literally 2 phone setters, 1 DM setter, and 2 closers. Super lean team. We are privileged enough to be selling a higher ticket and working with B2B and more qualified folks at a higher rate. And our show up rate is at 74%. It went from 22 to 74% in 3 weeks. I'll be dropping a video soon on how we increased that. Our organic side, we've been organic for 100% for the past 7 months per se. It's been very efficient. So if you enjoyed this video, please drop a like and subscribe. I'm starting this fresh just to document what's working, what's not working. I'm curious on who's watching. If you're a sales manager, operator, or CEO, or anybody running an offer, info product, or a business itself, go ahead and comment down what's your biggest bottleneck right now. I would love to get your take on this. Perhaps we can comment, all of us down there, and I can create a video on it, or just, we can obviously brainstorm that together. Go ahead and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.